All right, guys, so this is the hip hinge pattern. We're not going to be doing a lot of hip hinge work in this course. The reason is that this is a home body weight course. It's not that I don't value the hip hinge and don't think it's amazing. It's one of the best things that you can do in the gym. But it really thrives off progressive loading and having weight, something that you can lift from a dead stop up to a standing position, or if you have a kettlebell or dumbbell. But I'm going to assume that you don't have a lot of resources. I think that's best because I don't know what everyone's going to have as we do this. But I wanted to cover the hip hinge regardless. So the hip hinge is a hip dominant movement. This is what it looks like. So I'm about shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit narrower on my stance. I like to have toes straight ahead. My back is going to stay flat as my butt pushes back. So this is the hinge right here. So my tibias and my shin bones are mainly going to stay vertical, okay? So not a lot of flex at the knees, like where the squat, there's a lot of flex at the knees, okay? The butt changes levels height-wise. The hip hinge, the butt really stays at this height, and we're just hinging over, flat back, head is in line with the shoulders and the tailbone, and then on the way up, I'm squeezing with my glutes, I'm driving through my heels, and I'm lifting the weight to the top where I push my hips forward. Now I'm back in the standing position. So this would be a deadlift using a kettlebell. So all a deadlift means is that I'm moving an object of weight, whatever it is. I don't care if it's an Amazon box, your backpack, couch, a barbell, whatever it is. I'm moving an object from a dead position, not moving at all from the floor, up to a standing position. That's a deadlift. But the deadlift is a hip hinge. So again, hip hinging is hip dominant, lots of hamstring and glute working as I perform this. Again, less involvement from the knees, less involvement from the quads. Again, it's not a squat. The hip hinge is hip focused, okay? One of the ways that we can, if you've got a broomstick or anything like this at home, one of the ways that we can really train and hone in on the hip hinge pattern, and I'll turn this way so you can see what I'm doing, is if you place the broomstick behind you, I want you to put the back of your head against the broomstick, your upper back, and your tailbone. So it's gonna look like this. You're gonna hold that broomstick in place, assume your foot position, so again, shoulder width or slightly in. Now I'm going to hinge, but I'm not going to lose those points of contact with the broomstick. So the head, mid-back, and tailbone stay in contact with your broomstick. And that's a great way to make sure that you've got alignment as you hinge up and down. So that's the hip hinge.